Yeah, yeah. And when the meaning becomes plain, then we automatically give up and we don't have to make an effort anymore. So we can then concentrate our effort on the next stage of devotional service. And when we get to the point of bhava, we can also cultivate these different expressions. Why not? See, by deliberately cultivating expressions of ecstatic love for Krishna, then our love becomes stronger. That's why we're introducing dancing. I want to make our kirtans very, very ecstatic. So especially as we get more devotees and like that, these kirtans will become extremely ecstatic with dancing.
So that means we will also study deeply the science of rasa tattva?
Well, yeah, we can't help but study it. We should study it. I mean, devotees, because their business is to love Krishna, and loving Krishna is rasa. So we should study rasa tattva. If we don't, how can we even talk about our feelings? See? And also, without knowing those different terms and the different classifications of ecstatic love, how can we even recognize it when we experience them? See? Just like if a person, I was reading an article about this today, and they were saying, if a person only knew two words, hard and soft, about textures, right? So he would say, oh, this is soft. Well, the floor is hard. Oh, this is hard. This is soft, right? And he wouldn't be able to tell you anything more about it. Oh, this is kind of spongy, and this is like malleable, and this is firm, but these keys are hinged. And you see, there's so many other like shades of meaning in these other terms. But if we didn't have those terms, all we would be able to say is this is soft, this is hard. Nothing in between. So in Western language, we don't have words for these different subtle emotions. So how can we experience them if we don't even have words for them? We would never try to attain them. We would never put ourselves out, to open ourselves up to the possibility of experiencing them, because we wouldn't even know they were there.
Because we are not conscious of them. We throw them into the garbage.
We throw them into the garbage. We even experience these things, but because we're not conscious of them, or we don't have a name to call them, or we don't know how they fit into any kind of a pattern or any kind of relationship, we just toss the experience. We don't even remember them.
I also had a question about emotions. We do experience emotions throughout the day, different kinds of emotions. But again, we're not conscious of most of them. But if you're conscious of those emotions, it seems to be that since we work through the senses and through the mind, they get distorted, they get perverted. Like you think you have this emotion, but why do I have this emotion? You have no idea why. Or sometimes you just feel happy. It's like, why do you feel happy? You have no clue why you feel happy. And the realization I had was about the pastimes of Krishna. They're always going on. They're always eternal. And they're the cause of those emotions, because actually we're situated in the spiritual world. But because we're conscious of the material world, it's like they're all distorted and you have no clue. Like what's
and then we project the emotion onto the material world and look for a cause in the material world.
Yes.
But the actual cause is Krishna within.
Yes, and
yeah, so we mistake the cause, and then by projecting the emotion on the material world, creates a perverted reflection. And then by misassigning some material cause, then we fix that thing and make it material. So we actually destroy the beauty of these experiences by trying to superimpose material ontology on top of them. Just like every moment of being conscious is actually a spiritual experience. If we would just see it that way, then we could rejoice. See, and we could like celebrate our own consciousness.
And
This is Brahman realization.
Yes, and this is also, this leads to another subject of internalize the pastimes of Krishna. You mentioned once the Goswamis, what they would do, they would have different scriptures, and they would read one verse, and then just go inside, and then experience it completely. So that means you, theoretically, if you know the science of rasa, and from my realization yesterday, I was typing everything out because I was like, wow, it was very high. Anyways, from the tools what we have right now, for example, the science of rasa, even if we have theoretical knowledge, wouldn't be a better situation if we would read the scriptures with those tools in mind.
Well, of course.
And then you can actually experience it and go into that state of consciousness.
That's precisely why we're studying Nectar of Devotion. Because when you know this science of Rasa Tattva, and then you go back and read the scriptures, oh, it all makes so much more sense. Then you know why the devotees are saying this and that, and why Krishna is responding in this way and like that. You know, because it's all by rasa. That's the actual logic behind the relationships between Krishna and his devotees. See? What's actually going on is an exchange of rasa. So then you'll start, once you become very familiar with all this, vibhava, anubhāva, sattvika bhava, ashtai bhava, and all these different kinds of transcendental emotions, then you'll read the scriptures and you'll see, oh yes, this is vibhava, this is anubhava, this is sattvika bhava, this is this, this is that.
And this will automatically put you into that state of consciousness.
Well, of course,
And,
that's the first step to duplicating that state of consciousness.
Now that leads me to another question. I did not read the scriptures 3 times. I did not read them even fully as of yet, because there's a lot to read. But it takes a long time. And you mentioned once that we should at least read them once, and then the second time we should scrutinizingly go into that.
Scrutinizingly means that you make sure you know the meaning of every word.
Every word, yes.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, would it be a better idea to study the science of rasa and then just read the scripture this way?
Well, like I said, Srila Prabhupada published Nectar of Devotion before he published Srimad Bhagavatam.
That's the whole key.
Well, you could look at it that way. You could say Srila Prabhupada wanted the devotees to know this before reading Bhagavatam.
So without the Nectar of Devotion, Srimad Bhagavatam is actually dry, more or less.
Not so dry. I mean, it's not dry. It's never dry. But let's just say you would not be able to access a particular layer of meaning that is very important.
Yes. So it's more superficial when you read it.
Well, there would be less meaning.
Less meaning,
relatively
yes.
speaking, it would be superficial. I mean, Srimad Bhagavatam is never superficial.
No, I mean from the perspective of the devotee who reads it with
relatively speaking, you would not get as much meaning out of it if you weren't aware of rasa. Yeah.
Okay. And rasa never ends, right?
Well, it's like everything spiritual. It's eternal.
It goes deeper and deeper every time you read it more.
Yeah. Yeah. Vikram, is your question related to the subject matter that we're discussing?
It's related to one of the great long spiritual master.
Who?
Who was Swami Gaurūpa? Yeah, Swami Gaurūpa. Yes, that's.
Rupa Goswami?
Yes.
I explained that the other day. You don't remember?
I wasn't here together.
Yes, you were. Anyway, do we have another question?
Yeah, we have several.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I forgot some.
Question from Prasad. Dear Babaji, please accept my humble obeisances. Can the same ultimate bhava achieved by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra achievable through Dvadasakshara mantra too?
Well, let's see. By saying, when you say ultimate bhava, well, what exactly are you talking about? Sthai bhava? Or, what are you talking about, ultimate bhava? Bhava is a term that has many different shades of meaning. So you would have to be much more specific before you could say